come to order. Please pause for a moment of silent meditation. I'll now call upon Councilmember Patoka, who will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I could just make a comment. The Baltimore County officer that had been shot last week is out of surgery and back home. Just wanted to thank everybody that kept him in their prayers and thoughts, but wanted to make sure I pointed that out before we got the meeting started. So. Thank
you very much, Councilman Young. All of our hearts and prayers are with the family of that police officer, so thank you. I'd also like to point out that Councilman Ertel and Councilman Crandall are joining us remotely. Is there a motion to approve the journal for the meeting of March 3rd, 2025?
So moved.
I'll second it.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion is approved. Bills 425, 525, 625, and 725 were passed by the council, signed by the county executive, and are hereby enrolled. Mr. Secretary, will you now read all bills for introduction?
Certainly, Mr. Chairman. We have two bills for introduction this evening. First is Bill 20-25, sponsored by Councilman Marks, Parking and Recreational Vehicles on Public Roads. And Bill 21-25 is sponsored by Council members Catch and Marks, Zoning Regulations, Solar Facilities, Siting Requirements.
Thank you very much, Mr. Secretary. We will now consider appointment confirmations. Mr. Secretary, first item.
The appointment for this evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, is the reappointment nominated by Councilman Catch to the Board of Appeals for another 3-year term, Mr. Joseph Evans.
Thank you. Is Mr. Evans here tonight? Thank you. Welcome. Are there any questions or comments from the members? Councilman Catch?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman and members of the council, Mr. Evans has been an excellent member of the Board of Appeals. I'm not just saying it. I have talked to other members of the board, and they have said that he is one of the best, if not the best. He's a former defense attorney and a federal prosecutor as well, so he's been on both sides. And just to make things short, I don't know if Mrs. Dobkin is here. I don't see her.
I do not see Ms. Dobkin.
Is she on the agenda?
No, not yet.
Oh,
She will be coming up.
I guess that's why. Okay. But anyhow, so I would move to approve Mr. Evans' nomination.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, very good. Are there any other questions or comments from any of the members? Yes.
Councilman Catch, Mr. Evans, you live in the 3rd District? I do. Okay, good, because, you know, we had, I think it was a tactical move in the past where council members would appoint someone that didn't live in their district to the Board of Appeals.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the tactic was that typically a Board of Appeal member will not, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Evans, but a Board of Appeal member will not would not preside in something that was in the district for which they were appointed. Is that correct?
That is typically the practice, unless it's a matter of small significance. But for anything of any significance of any importance, that is the practice.
Thank you. So if, let's say, I appointed someone that was not from the 2nd District where they reside, would they be able to act on something that came before them?
Well, presumably they would not be able to act in a 2nd District. But, you know, I'm not aware of the situation actually having arisen under those circumstances, so I'm a little uncertain.
Yeah, I just,
the answer
I don't know if it's regulated in any way, but I think it's a good practice to. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. And I support your nomination. This has nothing to do with your nomination. I was just thinking out loud. I know Councilman Catch and I have talked about this in the.
Yeah. And
Yes, I can't wait for that. Thank you. I concur with your assessment.
I was about ready to do this. I mean, despite the fact she lives in the second.
Yes.
I mean, I was, okay, you
She
know,
lives about a Councilman Catch, she lives about a mile down the road from me.
I'm sorry.
Very good. Are there any other questions or comments from the members? Okay, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the appointment. Aye.
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 Oh, there he is.
Was it me?
Mr. Secretary, is your microphone on?
Yes, it is now.
Here we go.
Mr. Crandall,
Aye.
thank you.
Thank you. The appointment is confirmed. Congratulations, Mr. Evans. Yes, of course.
Did he raise his hand?
Yes, politely. We will now move on to final reading and vote of bills. Mr. Secretary, first item, please.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is for final reading and vote is Bill 12-25, current expense budget, the Enough Capacity Building Grant.
Very good. Mr. Richardson.
Good evening, Councilman Marks and members of the council. The administration is seeking your approval for a supplemental appropriation in the amount of $386,000 for the Engaging Neighborhoods, Organizations, Unions, Governments, and Households grant. This is a capacity building grant coming from the Governor's Office of Children to support the Enough Act. The majority of our funding will go to our community quarterback, the Community Assistance Network, to help with capacity building, technical assistance, and to start the building of the initiative to end childhood poverty, focusing initially in Essex and Middle River. The local management board will retain the remaining $346,000 for salaries and benefits and for grant writing, evaluations to the CAN subgrantees for this award. And I'll be happy to take any questions.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments from the members? Okay, is there a motion to approve Bill 1225?
So move.
So moved, seconded. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 1225.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch? Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Bill 1225 is passed. Thank you, Mr. Richardson. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Bill 13-25, sponsored by Councilman Young, zoning regulations, tattoo or body piercing establishments.
Councilman Young?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. As discussed at the two work sessions, 1325 allows for a tattoo or body piercing shop within the lines of a CRD, and specifically the Route 40 CRD, and also is in compliance with all other regulations associated with such a business or establishment. So, is there any questions? Move favorable.
Okay. Okay, second. Are there any other questions or comments from the members? Okay. Having had a motion and a second, Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 1325.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel? Mr. Crandall.
Aye.
Bill 1325 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I'm just going to go out of order a little bit because the next item I think that should be called is related to the bill that you just considered. So I will call Resolution 15-25. This resolution is also sponsored by Councilman Young and would approve the amending of the boundary of the Baltimore National Pike Commercial Revitalization District. Again, it kind of goes hand in hand with the bill that you just heard.
Thank you. Councilman Young?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Resolution 1525 is in companion with the bill that we just passed. The conversation with the business owner, they were under the impression when the original ask came in for the bill that they were within the CRD. And then there was confusion from the beginning about which CRD they were in. Once we looked at the map, realized they were about 100 yards outside. So in order for the bill to make sense, the CRD needed to be moved, so we put in the resolution after the bill was introduced. So, and with that, unless anybody has any questions.
Okay. Are there any questions or comments? Okay, so we need a motion.
Move favorable.
Second.
Okay, motion by Councilman Young and seconded by Councilman Catch. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 1525.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Resolution 1525 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Bill 13-25, 14-25, sponsored by Councilman Catch, zoning regulations, uses permitted in the manufacturing light zone, automotive enthusiast club.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, I believe there's an amendment to this bill.
There is one amendment. The amendment would, in the definition of the automotive enthusiast club, it would clarify that related accessory use, which is one of the terms in the definition, related accessory use shall not include a racing track or racing facility.
Thank you. Are there any questions or comments?
Mr.
Councilman Catch?
Yeah, this legislation permits a car enthusiast club in Glen Arm, Maryland. That's where it's located. And obviously, and we've worked with the community association. Everybody's on board, but I don't think anybody's on board for a racetrack or a racing facility. So that's the purpose of the amendment, to not allow that to happen. And I move the amendment.
Okay. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the amendment to Bill 1425.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Amendment passes. Are there any questions or comments from the members on the overall bill? Okay. Is there a motion to approve Bill 1425 as amended?
Move the bill as amended.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 1425 as amended.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Bill 1425 as amended is passed. Mr. Secretary, next bill, please.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Bill 15-25, sponsored by Councilman Jones, zoning regulations, uses permitted in the BMCT district, elderly housing facilities, and overcrowded school districts.
Okay, Mr. Secretary, I believe there's an amendment to, there's several amendments to Bill 1525, correct?
Yes, sir. The first amendment is offered by Councilman Jones. We discussed this amendment with Mr. Jones. You may recall at the work session last week, there was some brief discussion about the application of the bill to overcrowded school districts, and that was in the bill to provide consistency in those four housing types that were being adopted in the bill. Upon a closer inspection of the current law, we realized that the bills that changed the APFO last year had already taken care of that, but they hadn't been published online or in the supplements yet, so we didn't realize that was no longer necessary to include any reference in Mr. Jones's bill to the APFO. So this amendment would just delete all or strike references to overcrowded school districts and the APFO law.
Okay, are there any comments or questions from the members? Nope. Okay.
I'll move it.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the amendment to Bill 1525.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Amendment passes.
Mr. Secretary.
Sure. Councilman Jones.
Mr. Chairman, let me just, I know we're getting into the amendments, but let me just, for those that may not know, this bill basically deals with apartments on the ground floor. Currently, they're permitted in Owings Mills, Hunt Valley, White Marsh areas that currently have a BMCT zone. The main thing that this bill is doing is modifying that area where it is in Owings Mills, that is zone BMCT, where apartments are permitted on the ground floor. That said, I believe we have another amendment coming up, and we had extensive conversations during the last two work sessions.
Yes, sir. This amendment is actually offered by the administration. And as Mr. Jones indicated, the bill well, the current law and some of the tweaks that this bill is making would allow the apartments in the Hunt Valley area, in the Owings Mills area, as well as the White Marsh Honeygo area. The amendment offered by the administration would also offer this housing type in the Security Boulevard area as part of the revitalization opportunities for that area.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Councilman Young.
Appreciated this was brought up in conversation with the sponsor and the administration, so just wanted to let folks know from Security Boulevard being in District 1, we were on board the amendment as it was introduced.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Councilman.
So the amendment simply adds security.
Exactly.
Okay.
I'll move the amendment.
Very good. Is there a second?
Second.
Very good. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the second amendment to Bill 1525.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Thank you. The amendment passes. Are there any other questions or comments from the members? Okay, is there a motion to approve Bill 1525 as amended?
I'll move it.
Second.
Second? Okay. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Bill 1525 as amended.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel? Mr. Ertel?
Oh, aye. I thought you got me. Sorry.
Thank you.
Very good. Bill 1525 as amended is passed. Mr. Secretary, next bill, please.
Next is Bill 16-25, sponsored by Councilman Marks, zoning regulations, uses permitted in the RC5 zone, Christmas tree farms, and plumbing, mechanical, and utility companies.
Thank you. At the work session last Tuesday, I indicated I would request that Bill 1625 be extended. I motion that Bill 1625 be extended for further discussion.
Second.
Okay, motion second. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on the motion to extend Bill 1625.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Bill 1625 is hereby extended. Mr. Secretary, what is the new schedule for this bill?
The bill will be heard on April the 1st. That's the next work session. And the final reading and vote will be scheduled for Monday, April the 7th.
Thank you. The council will now consider all fiscal matters. Extensive testimony was taken at the council's work session on March 11, 2025. The witnesses who testified at the work session are available to restate their testimony if needed. I will now call upon the secretary to read the cover letter for fiscal matters 1 through 4 and 6. Fiscal Matter 5 was withdrawn prior to the meeting.
Fiscal Matter 1 is a contract with Wilshire Advisors LLC. Fiscal Matter 2 is a contract of sale with Richard and Shonda Salmons. Fiscal Matter 3 is a contract with Action Elevator Company LLC. Fiscal Matter 4 is a contract with UniFirst Corporation. And Fiscal Matter 6 is a series of 38 contracts categorized as cooperative agreements utilizing the State of Maryland Department of Information Technology Consulting and Technical Services Plus, or CATS, for staffing solutions with OIT.
Are there any questions or comments from the members?
Yes, Mr.
Councilman Patoka?
Yes, on fiscal matter 1, related to the contract with Wilshire Advisors. Mr. Reed, I don't know if this is a question or if I'm being rhetorical, but being an investment advisor in the current climate has got to be one of the most difficult jobs. You know, it's so volatile. And there's a whiplash element to it. I just don't know. I mean, I know we have to do this, but I just wonder, for any financial advisor, you know, what the metrics are that they're using in today's environment with just the volatility of the market. It's not a question. If you care to comment on it, you can. If not, you don't have to. I've been thinking about this a lot, given the, you know, the daily unknown variables that hit both our economy, our workforce, our federal government. It's just, it's an unusual time to be a financial advisor.
Yeah, Councilman, I appreciate that. And, you know, I think that again, based on, you know, building off of my testimony and Dave Rose's last week, is that, you know, the retirement system and the board wants to take a fresh look at what is going on out there, and that this is it's a $3.3 billion pension system, that this is the right time to do that.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions or comments from the members? Okay. Mr. Secretary, hearing none, is there a motion to approve fiscal matters 1 through 4 and 6?
So move.
Second.
There's a second? Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on fiscal matters 1 through 4 and 6.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Fiscal matters 1 through 4 and 6 are approved. We will now consider the remainder of the miscellaneous business items. Mr. Secretary, first item.
First is Resolution 16-25. This resolution is sponsored by all council members and seeks approval for the support of families and businesses facing unaffordable BGE bills.
Is there any discussion from any of the council members? Councilman Young?
I'll have these.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just wanted to thank Chairman Ertel for the conversation from the last work session to now, and the agreement from the council to single out the individual bills and engage with the legislature on those 3 bills and showing our support for them, not just in the referendum, but also in the resolution, but also making it clear that we support what their intent is and support their passage. So appreciate the conversation and happy to sign on as a co-sponsor.
Great. Thank you, Councilman Young. Councilman Jones?
Yes, thank you so much for giving me an opportunity to discuss this important matter. I would hope that something comes out of the General Assembly that can provide some relief for the citizens of Maryland, especially here in Baltimore County. You know, basically the story seems to go, BGE is saying, well, you know, the cost of gas is more expensive. Others are saying, well, you know, when you pass a bill that is passing on the infrastructure costs that BGE is incurring to the citizens, then BGE has gone wild, replacing everything they can, which in turn is being passed on to the citizens. Whatever the cause may be, and then there's an issue with the Brandon Shores power plant, and that they would generate electricity. They were slated to be turned down, and now they're going to generate electricity on an emergency basis, and that cost somehow went up 800%. whatever the cause is, I would hope that my colleagues in the General Assembly would do whatever they can to provide some much-needed relief to the citizens of the state of Maryland, especially here in Baltimore County. We have many people that I've heard from on fixed incomes, people who are finding it very difficult to make ends meet. Many of them worried about their jobs, who work for the federal government and others. So I guess heard that Johns Hopkins is going to lay off 2,000 people. So I would hope that this resolution does not fall on deaf ears at the General Assembly, and that they would do whatever's necessary to provide some relief to the citizens of the state of Maryland. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Jones. Councilman Catch?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. I've spoken with 3 members of the General Assembly, and I'm optimistic that the General Assembly will study this issue and hopefully come up with a plan for the future. The problem has been that the state, through legislation, has closed down some of the power generating stations in the state of Maryland, ones that are fossil fuel or coal. And that's fine, but nothing is in the plans to replace those energy generators that have been closed. One of the things I would say, and I know that there's talk of nuclear and the talk of, well, what do we do with the nuclear waste? The truth is that the French have developed nuclear power that reuses the spent fuel, so it's not a problem. So if they can do it, we should be able to do it. And the latest numbers I've heard is that we now get 40% of our energy from out of state. I understand that could go over 50% in the near future. So whatever the bills are today, they're going to even climb higher unless the state of Maryland can come up with a reasonable plan. You just don't close things down and not have an alternative, and that's what's happened here. And so let's hope that a plan is developed that will solve this problem.
Thank you. Councilman Patoka?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just want to share with my colleagues, I attended a community meeting last week. It was the Willow Glen Community Association, very well attended. And they asked me to speak, but they really had a question, and it was unique to the times. They said, Councilman Patoka, we don't know what to do. Can you advise us what we should be doing? We can't afford to pay our BG&E bill. Many of our neighbors used to have a job in the federal government and do not have a job in the federal government. Our 401k has turned upside down. We can't afford eggs at the grocery store, nor can we afford anything else at the grocery store. It's difficult. It's not like it was just a year ago. What should we be doing, Councilman Patoka? And these are real life questions. These are the things that we face. And, you know, I'm not exaggerating. My team members were with me, and I don't think I'm exaggerating at all. And I didn't really have a great answer for them because these times are so unusual. The only thing I could say to them, it's really important for us to be strong at the local level because some of the things that are at other levels we can't control. But the questions are valid. What should we be doing when we can't afford to pay our gas and electric bill? What should we be doing when we can't afford groceries anymore? What should we be doing when we don't have a job and we don't have health care associated with that job anymore? I mean, this is a spiral. This is a spiral that, if it continues as it has been over the past couple of months, I'm concerned that we won't be a society anymore. We'll be something else. I don't know what that something else is, but I think for me and my colleagues, it really is important for us to be strong at the local level because that's the asset we have to offer. And, will continue to work. I know I will, and I'm confident my colleagues will continue to work to make sure that when we go to a community meeting and we have these existential questions, that we're able to at least provide them, at the very least, some comfort and perhaps some answers. So I just wanted to share that with my colleagues. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. Is there any more discussion? Okay, hearing none, is there a motion to approve motion 1525?
Mr. Chair,
Okay. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on resolution.
Mr. Chair,
Oh, I'm sorry. Councilman Crandall, I apologize.
that's okay. You didn't see my hand go up. I'm supportive of this resolution, and I agree with both Councilman Jones, Councilman Katz, and Councilman Patoka. However, I think that we are kind of running at windmills here if we're going to expect that the Maryland General Assembly is going to do anything to help our constituents, because they haven't in decades. So what we're doing is a little bit of window dressing. Let's face it. The Maryland General Assembly will not do anything to help our constituents out. And we know it. So why don't we just lay our cards on the table and say, we don't have anything to do with this. We want the General Assembly to take action. We want the PSC to take action, but they won't. So I think that we should be real with our constituency about this issue, is that the Maryland General Assembly is bought and paid for and will do nothing. They will do nothing to help our constituents because they never have in decades. So thank you, Mr. Chair. Need to say that. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Councilman Crandall. Councilman Ertel, did you want to say anything?
The only thing I would say, and hopefully my audio is good enough that you can hear me, I think this is a good, if anything, this is a good discussion on where we need to go in the future as far as production of energy, in that we're going to continue to have demands on the grid, especially as these data centers open in the Mid-Atlantic. I know Virginia is planning to open many data centers. So consumers are going to be competing for that same energy that data centers are taking. And, and the population is growing in the Mid-Atlantic as well. Because we're not just concerned about, obviously we're concerned about Maryland, but Pennsylvania, Virginia, New Jersey are all growing, and there's a demand for power in all of these states. And we're going to have to find a way to produce more of our own power. And I'm hoping that the good that comes out of this is that we come up with a long-term plan collectively between the legislature, the public, the PSC, BG, everybody else that's involved in this, to drive a solution for the future that keeps power affordable, because it's very important to, especially people on fixed incomes, that they're not going to see their rates double or triple, and have to make poor decisions on what to do because they can't afford their electric or their gas bill. That's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Councilman Ertel. Is there any other discussion from any of the members? Hearing none, is there a motion to approve Resolution 1625? Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 1625.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Resolution 1625 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is Resolution 17-25, sponsored by Councilman Marks, seeks approval of an amendment to the White Marsh Commercial Revitalization District boundary.
Thank you. Is there any discussion by any of the members? Okay, I would like to speak to this resolution. It is very important that we plan for improvements and give support to the White Marsh Mall as it undergoes revitalization. The repurposing of this mall is critical in northeastern Baltimore County. It's what we've heard from the stakeholders so far who have spoken to those facilitating the small area plan discussions. As I've said many times from the dais, White Marsh deserves the same type of attention we've given to other commercial areas, and that is why I'm sponsoring this resolution. So I'd like to motion to approve Resolution 1725.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Secretary, please call the roll on Resolution 1725.
Mr. Marks?
Aye.
Mr. Catch?
Aye.
Mr. Jones?
Aye.
Mr. Ertel?
Aye.
Mr. Crandall?
Aye.
Mr. Young?
Aye.
Mr. Patoka?
Aye.
Thank you. Resolution 1725 is passed. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next is the announcement of non-competitive awards. This is more of a correction from the last meeting, Mr. Chairman and members of the council. At the last meeting, I read the agreement, the supplier contract with Verizon Communications, which was for the purchase of yearly application for services agreements from Verizon for the database, which contains automatic number information and automatic location information for the 911 center. That was read as a 5-year estimated award total of $4,655,000. We learned after the meeting on March 3rd that it was actually a 10-year award. So it should just be corrected to state on the record that that supplier contract with Verizon is a 10-year estimated award total of $4.655 million.
Thank you. Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
Next, Mr. Chairman, is Resolution 18-25, sponsored by Councilman Ertel, supporting the request for the Main Street, Maryland designation by the Maryland Department of Housing and Community Development for Towson. This is for introduction only this evening.
Thank you. And Mr. Secretary, next item, please.
And next is Resolution 19-25, sponsored by Councilman Catch, seeking adoption and incorporation, excuse me, of the Jacksonville Community Plan into Master Plan 2030, also for introduction only this evening.
And Mr. Secretary, I'd like to be added as a co-sponsor of that.
Yes, sir.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Secretary, is there any further business to come before the council?
There is no further business, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved. Second.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Meeting is adjourned. As is customary, anyone who's registered to speak online prior to the meeting is allowed 3 minutes to speak. Ms. Belcastro, do we have any speakers this evening?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Our first speaker is Troy Coazum. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, who is here in person.
I don't, is Mr. Coaxum here? And he's not online, Ms. Belcastro?
Let me double check. No, I can call the next speaker if you'd like.
Yes, okay, thank you. Next speaker, please.
Our next speaker is Maureen Wambui, who is on virtually. You may begin your testimony.
Yes, good evening, everybody. Chairperson and members of the council. So I'm going to speak on testimony in opposition of the County Bill 1925. And I'm going to start by saying thank you for the opportunity to provide a testimony today. My name is Maureen Wambui, and I'm here to express my strong opposition to Bill 1925, the Baltimore County Farmland Preservation Act. While I recognize the importance of preserving open spaces and supporting agriculture, I believe this bill has significant unintended consequences that will negatively impact a wide range of Baltimore County residents. Number one being the burden on farmers and rural landowners. The bill places unnecessary restriction on farmland, limiting property owners' ability to sell or develop their land. Number two is a blow to affordable housing and economic growth. Baltimore County is already facing a housing shortage, and restricting available land for new development will drive up home prices, making it harder for working families, young professionals, and first-time home buyers to afford a place to live. Additionally, limiting development will hurt local construction jobs, real estate investment, and small businesses that rely on economic expansion. Number three is the loss of tax revenue for public services, which is actually very needed in Baltimore County. Restricting land development means Baltimore County will miss out on potential tax revenue from new businesses, homes, and infrastructure projects. These could lead to budget shortfalls, which we are already doing, negatively affecting public schools, emergency services, and community programs. Number four, the property rights and landowner autonomy. Private landowners should have the right to decide what to do with their property, whether that means farming, selling, or developing it. Number six, there is lack of consideration for alternative solutions, which should have like incentive-based conservation programs rather than strict zoning loans. We should have things like tax credit grants, transfer of development rights. And then the other option will be, so these are just recommendations. The second recommendation is smart growth policies that balance development with environmental protection, things like mixed use development, which encourages projects that combine housing, retail, and office spaces in walkable areas to reduce urban sprawl. The third recommendation is affordable housing initiatives that ensure future home ownership opportunities for all residents. So I'm going to submit this in my email so that you can better read this and go through it. Thank you for the opportunity to give my testimony. My name is Maureen Wambui.
Thank you, Ms. Wambui. Next speaker, please.
Certainly, Mr. Chair. Our next speaker is Sharonda Huffman, who is here in person.
Can I begin?
Go ahead.
Thank you. Good evening, Council Chair Pro Tem Marks and council members. Happy belated birthday to Councilman Jones. Pi Day is truly one of the best days of the year. It's also my anniversary. And happy Women's History Month to County Administrator Walker, our first woman county executive, even if it was for a long weekend. I'm Sharonda Huffman, a Baltimore County Planning Ambassador. The applications are out today. I'm chair of the Baltimore County Housing Committee for a nonprofit and a housing equity advocate, and I reside in Middlesex community of Essex in District 7. Tonight, I come directly from the Greater Baltimore committee event at Towson, where President Ginsburg shared that 90% of their alumni stay in this region. I'm here by way of Morgan State University, and I ask, where are the next generation of graduates going to live? As we discuss Bill 1925 regarding the ERDL, we must confront its history and impact on race, housing, and opportunity in Baltimore County. The ERDL and Baltimore's legacy of exclusion. In 1776, only white land-owning men could vote. The 15th Amendment in 1870 removed racial barriers on paper, but voter suppression kept Black Americans disenfranchised. White women gained their right to vote in 1920, but Black Americans weren't fully guaranteed access to the ballot until 1965's Voting Rights Act, just 10 years before I was born. 2 years later, in 1967, the ERDL was created when the Fair Housing Act passed in 1968 prohibited racial discrimination in housing. But by then, the damage was done. Exclusionary zoning, redlining, and restrictive land use policies had already determined who could live where, who could build wealth, and who would be left behind. The ERDL was framed as a growth management tool, but in practice, it reinforces segregation and economic disparities. It confines growth to an already segregated area, limiting expansion opportunity for Black and low-income families. It protects large swaths of land for wealth, predominantly white communities concentrating generational wealth. It worsened housing affordability and blocked diverse, inclusive communities through restrictive zoning. Today, 90% of our population is squeezed into just 1/3 of the land, while 2/3 remain off limits, driving up costs and worsening our housing crisis. If we are serious about housing equity, we must evaluate all factors contributing to the crisis. We need to conduct a comprehensive land use and housing impact survey on the ERDL's role in limiting housing access. A study does not mean development. It just simply means we need to understand the data before making decisions that impact future generations. Let the planning department do its job. Why interfere early when the housing department is already conducting a housing study evaluation? Slow down and align this legislation with our existing charter. Rush bills create poor outcomes, as we saw with redistricting. Baltimore County cannot afford another generation locked out of opportunity. The time is now. Will you take action or do nothing, as my councilman said?
Thank you, Ms. Hoffman. Mr. Jones, yes.
Ms. Hoffman, thank you so much for the birthday wish. Appreciate that very much. I see you're very fashionable in your
St.
green.
Patrick's Day.
I was just curious, I heard your speech. Give me the relationship between the ERDL and segregation and race.
Well, let me just be honest with you. No one really looks at our history, but we see the impact we need to save our environment. But ultimately, all this started back in the day when there was a lot of growth, and we didn't have as many people in Baltimore County. So we decided, okay, we're going to just concentrate our development around the city line. And that really has not changed. What has happened is, we didn't go back to slavery. This is still, I'm from Delaware, I'm up north, but they still have slavery. This is a slave state. A lot of landowners were Black landowners, and because of restrictions, they weren't able to even occupy the land that we now call outside the ERDL. As a result, we have a lot of white landowners who have settled. When you have restrictions like you only can build on 1 acre of land, that also diminishes the opportunity for Black people to even live in that area. So that is a part of segregation. We have been living underneath the shadows of, well, we're going to save the earth. But really, no one has really challenged in court whether the imaginary line called the ERDL is not actually racial discrimination. It's called redlining. So has it gone to court? I don't know. But I just think that there should be a study to determine all the different areas that we can have development. Does that mean that you have to build outside the ERDL? No, it doesn't. It really just means you have a full scope. And that's what we need to do. Instead of making a law that doesn't make any sense. Obviously, if you look at the fiscal note, which no one is sending out, Councilman Young, he addressed it. Your department has addressed it. That does nothing. You can still develop in that area. So what you want to do, if you really wanted to put before the voters, let's have a full discussion of the history and see who's paying what. Because there's more people that are outside more people inside the ERDL than outside the ERDL. And let's just look at the history of it and then have a full discussion on the impact of saying, no, 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 you can't go here. But at the same time, all the people who are saying you can't build here won't even let you build in their area. It is not fair that people in my area, they said, we have too much development. I went to your meeting in Owings Mills. They said they were complaining about a new community and they were having a roundabout. Why does every everybody have to be stuck together instead of us looking at the holistic thing. And not only am I talking about looking at conservation, it can be conservation that we're repurposing buildings inside of the ERDL, but we can't just say, because of privilege, I'm not going to look at anything else.
Okay, thank you.
Councilman Patoka?
Thank you, Ms. Hoffman. One of my concerns in this evaluation, I think it's fair to say let's do an evaluation, is I can just speak for my district. I don't know the other districts well enough, but so the infrastructure in District 2 is insufficient. We do not have enough infrastructure to satisfy the needs of the 120,000 some residents. An example would be, so in District 2, we used to not have a single rec center in District 2. For 120,000 people, 0 rec centers. In 2022 redistricting, we did gain a rec center, a very active rec center, the Woodlawn Rec Center, which is on the western edge of District 2. It's in Woodlawn Village. District 2, though, goes from Woodlawn Village to Ruxton, and then every community inside the Beltway, and then even it pokes out, it juts out in some of the valleys. I won't get in, but to me, in terms of recreational opportunities, you cannot have one rec center for 120,000 people. We have other deficient areas of infrastructure. Rec centers is one that really stands out. We don't have a standalone rec center in the district. So one of the concerns that I have is that we need to tend to, in a real way, the areas where we have existing communities and we don't have some of the things that communities need. So if we build this new shiny object out in the exurbs, then we know that a tough budget is ahead of us in the next couple of years. So we build these shiny new objects out in the exurbs, and then we're trying to build infrastructure for them. And I'm not going to editorialize on that, but then if we're investing this limited amount of dollars, putting the rec centers out here, then my inner Beltway community that I represent don't get basic infrastructure. And that's one of the concerns I have. And I think your idea of an analysis is good. I just think that should be a variable that's thrown in the mix to examine.
Is there a question, though? Because I have an answer.
It was just
Okay.
maybe I'm being rhetorical, but please feel free to comment.
Oh, no, but I definitely agree with you. So part of what my old job was that I would look at different structures. And a lot of times when you have those infrastructure issues, then you make the developer pay for it. If they can't pay for it, it doesn't happen. But in reality, we don't know because we have nothing in writing. And all I'm asking you to do, if the analysis comes back that it says, okay, we don't have any infrastructure for it, but you're talking about a rec center, and I'm talking about people living in rooms, and they don't have any places. We're talking about the homeless. So I hear you, but not everybody needs a rec center. Some people just need a place to stay.
And I think, Baltimore County, we don't have a really good track record of making the developer pay for it. I think 2 years ago, our impact, what our impact fee yield was 2 years ago?
Close to zero, because you weren't doing it, you waited too late.
Right on
but
zero.
But time is now.
We had a bill to last year, there was an administration bill that I supported, and I think many of my colleagues supported, to modify the impact fee bill, and it wasn't received very well by the same people that want to build communities out in the exurbs.
Well, I just want to say one thing. I think it's incumbent upon the council people. If you're saying I don't want development in my area, then find a place you do want development. And then what you do is you do a RFP and say, hey, we want development in this area, instead of just having people spend all their money, spin their wheels, and then you change the zoning. That's not fair. So you're not really building, and I just went through the GBC event, and we're supposed to be a regional place where people are supposed to go. How are we supposed to build businesses if some of these industries don't have any place to live? I think that Baltimore County has a lot to offer, and everybody shouldn't move to Hartford County, Baltimore City, and everyone else. So you have to look at the bigger impact. So you're talking about a rec center. I'm talking about the holistic approach.
Gotcha. Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Councilman Catch?
you want to go? Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At least half or more of northern Baltimore County is in my district, north of the Erdel. And, what you're suggesting really frightens me, simply because northern Baltimore County is the breadbasket for central Maryland. And if you take a look at northern Baltimore County, the amount of prime and productive soil is huge. And prime and productive soil does not exist in more than, I think, 4 states in this country. And we cannot afford to give up more and give up more and give up more, because we need the potential to grow food. Absolutely. And secondly, 1.6 million people drink public water. It's coming from northern Baltimore County, about 60% of it. And with the development that's there now, with wells, septic, and impervious surfaces, et cetera, all of the reservoirs have their pollution problems. So I just think that for us to talk in terms of developing northern Baltimore County is the wrong approach. I'd rather see a study of how we're going to feed this area in the future, how we're going to keep the water, the public water, clean. There's so many things that are a consideration, and I'm very protective of it. I'm not happy at all with the solar panels that have been installed over prime and productive soil. It takes that prime and productive soil out of service. And you can't move that soil and put it somewhere else because you need certain weather conditions for it to continue that way. And has been brought up here, with the communities, especially south of the Beltway. I know the councilman from District 2, Councilman Patoka. Are we allowed to say names up here? Yes, we are. Well, anyhow, I can remember he put in a bill to redevelop Woodmore. I'm very familiar with Woodmore. I know that area. And it's because we desperately need those communities inside the Beltway, they need to be improved. You have failing stormwater systems, you have roads that need paving, et cetera. You need to upgrade those communities to make them desirable for people to live there. Let's face it, we have a limited amount of land in Baltimore County. And I don't think we can afford to take more going north. And I can tell you that that land is very expensive up there. I don't know about low-cost or affordable housing because, we're talking about a lot of money for the land. It's so valuable. Do you know where the Hunt Valley Inn is?
Yes. Can I ask you a question, Councilman Koch? All I asked for was a study, so I don't know what you're scared of. I mean, there's nothing to fear, but to do an environmental study. So I do have people that I used to work in real estate for the state as well as for Baltimore City. So you can't have any development without an environmental study. So I agree with you. And it could yield that there is no development above that area. But it also could give us an analysis, and that's all I'm asking for.
Well, sometimes these reports have a conclusion in mind, then they write the report.
Okay, well, you should find someone who's more neutral, you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, so I mean, you have that opportunity.
I just think that the best way to approach this is to take our neighborhoods that are having issues and turn them around. Because, we also have a problem with our schools. Our schools aren't performing as they need to or should. And it takes a community working together with the school, with the members of the community to bring everything around so that it's successful. So, you know, we have limited dollars, and I really think that it'd be beneficial to everyone if we go in the areas that are not impacted by the hurdles. So, you know, I've been in, this is my 51st year in elected office. Wow. And I have seen reports where I would swear the conclusion was reached before the report was written. I was a math teacher in Baltimore County, so I kind of can see those things happening.
Well, Councilman Koch, how often have you allowed development to happen in your area that's not in the Erdl area we're talking about? Because we can talk a good game, what we don't want to do, but what I see this council doing is nothing. And so I'm just asking you, do you normally approve things, or do you normally scale them down and change the zoning?
Look, I didn't quite hear all your questions.
Oh, I'm sorry, I can speak up.
This isn't a question and answer. You don't have to answer.
Well, let me just address it, then we'll go on. Sorry. In the 3rd district, above the Erdl, untouchable. That's not to say that there isn't some building of houses. I think it went from 10,000 building sites down to 3,300, okay? And very proud of that. As far as new housing goes, my view is that from Padonia Road, do you know where that?
Yes,
Okay.
I know. I'm familiar. I used to work for State Highway, and Baltimore
Okay.
County was my territory, so I know all the roads. Thank you.
Okay, so from Padonia up to Hunt Valley, you have the light rail going through there. I've approved a lot of development there, mostly apartments and some townhouses. And so that's what I've done to address the need for additional housing. So, I have the agreement of just about every community in in the 3rd district, because that's important to get people as part of these decisions. So, you know, I know you don't want to worry me, but whenever I hear moving the Erdl or not moving it, it's of great concern to me. But I thank you for.
Thank you. I appreciate the feedback.
Thank you. Any more questions?
Mr. Chairman.
Yeah. Okay.
He had his hand up before.
Councilman Crandall. Councilman.
Mr. Chair, I just wanted to make clear that the bill that we are considering is not whether to get rid of the Erdl or to move the Erdl. It is a referendum issue to go to the voters as to whether the voters want to have a supermajority amongst the council members to change the Erdl in some future date. Mr. Chair, you're the lead sponsor of this. Am I incorrect in that?
Repeat what you said, Councilman Crandall. You're a little bit muffled.
Sorry about that. No, the bill that we're considering does not have anything to do with doing away with the Erdl, moving the Erdl, allowing anything inside or outside of the Erdl. The only thing that this bill has to do with is a referendum issue where the voters will decide whether it takes a supermajority of the Baltimore County Council to change the Erdl or not change the Erdl.
That is correct. That's correct.
So we're kind of caught up in this. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So we're kind of caught up in this argument over whether the Erdl is valid or not, but that's not the issue that we're dealing with. We're dealing with if we ever wanted to change it in some form or fashion, that it would, we're basically codifying how many votes amongst the county council it would take in order to amend the existing Erdl line. So I think it's important to you know, we're not really deliberating on whether the Erdl should exist or not. We're deliberating on how many votes it should take amongst the county council members in order to change it. So I just wanted to be clear on that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councilman Crandall. Councilman Young.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's pretty evident from the last work session and then even today. And to Councilman Crandall's credit, bringing back to what the referendum in front of us is intended to do. But I also think it's also indicative of the conversation that we had last week and that we'll have next week, that there is a fundamental misunderstanding of what the Erdl is and what people think it is, what it protects and what it doesn't protect. Ms. Hoffman, I think that from your perspective, and I think you'd find folks that agree with you in terms of the original purpose of why the Erdl was created back in the 1960s. And I think that there is something to be said that in that time there was very few zoning tools to protect rural land, protect open space. And since the creation of the Erdl, correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Secretary, but there was no RC district back then.
That's correct. The Erdl predates the RC zones.
And over time, the Erdl stayed in place. And what I read from, I will keep saying, the notes provided by our staff, that was compiled from the notes from the creation of the Erdl and where it exists and where it doesn't officially, that it was aspirational, that it was supposed to be a guide and something to work for and work towards, and also provide guidelines so when folks were making a decision, I say folks, when the planning board was making a decision to move the Erdl, that it wasn't done without taking things into consideration. Say that because we have had study after study that informed us on making a decision or suggestions on how to take a decision when it came to adequate public facilities, when it came to expanding the council. But when it comes to this, we're choosing, or at least from the conversation, there's a concern, possibly based in fear, based in a future that we can't tell or who's going to be sitting in these seats, that has sort of inspired this piece of legislation without a clear understanding of what exactly we're interjecting ourselves into. That's clear from the conversation. My question to you, Ms. Hoffman, is I agree with you, and I think some of the other members agree too, that there should be intentful, thoughtful discussion and study of the Erdl. It's unfortunate that we took a provision out of the master plan that would have done that, exactly that. But knowing that, and knowing it was removed, but you coming here and speaking, I'm not asking to put you on the spot, I think you put some thought into this. What would you see that intentful work or that looking into the history of the Erdl and recommendations on what to do next, how would you see that going? Who would be on that? What would be its charge at the end of the day?
Well, it's already started. I'm part of my housing committee. I understand that DHCD is having a housing study done to see what our needs are, because it might not even involve changing anything with the Erdl. But it could involve saying, hey, we need to do other things, like we need to turn some of these industrial areas into residential areas or vice versa. But also what I would suggest is you do a comprehensive environmental study to see, because what you're trying to tell me is everything in 2/3 of Baltimore County is going to, anything that happens in that long stretch of land is going to damage some waterway without evidence. And so I'm asking for the evidence. Let's get data. Let's not make up stuff, because it doesn't make sense. So I have worked for State Highway. I've worked for Baltimore City. And I've been on those planning committees, and we always think of the what ifs, and do you do this? So there has to be someone who has the integrity to say, this can damage our environment if you do this. You also have partners in the state. that can help us determine if there's any viability to looking at any housing production in the above the line. I don't know what I don't know, but I just think we do things haphazardly, even creating this bill, because there are so many loopholes that if somebody did get into office, all they got to do is change the name of the ERDL in the zoning, and they can do whatever they want. Somebody needs to really study Robert's rules, because this feels like, we just make up stuff, and it's not really consistent with the charter. If the ERDL is not even defined, there should be a lot of changes to this plan. I'm just asking you to table it. And if somebody really wants to have this done, then do it correctly instead of having confusion.
Thank you, Ms. Huffman, for your insight. Mr. Chairman, appreciate the time. Thank you.
Councilman Ertel, do you have anything to add?
No, I just hope we have water to drink in the future, Ms. Hoffman.
I can't hear you.
No worries.
Thank you, Councilman Ertel.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes, Councilman.
I'll be brief. I guess the big issue for me as it relates to this legislation in front of us is, as you say, we don't know what we don't know. If anybody here can predict the future, please give me a little clue on the lotto numbers, because I could use the money. The reality is we don't know what the future holds. And I live outside the ERDL. I'm okay with the ERDL. But I don't want to make it more difficult for future councils or future county Department of Planning. I don't know what they're going to be up against in 20 years or 15 years. So why do we want to sit here today when the ERDL has been sitting there for 67 years? And by bringing it up, trying to codify it, trying to make it more difficult to move, you are going to, in effect, put a spotlight on it and raise all kind of conversation and debate about it. And you may end up setting a fire that you cannot put out. So I'm not sure it does us any good to put some restrictions for future councils or future planning departments or future county executives to, in fact, make some tweaks where they think is necessary, given whatever the environment is they're going to face in the future. I just don't see a good reason for it. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Councilman Jones, a wise community has supports in place, like good firefighters and paramedics and so forth, to guard against the fire if it ever does come about. And I think that's what a number of us are trying to do. Thank you, Ms. Huffman.
Mr. Chair, I believe Troy Kozam, or Kozum, I'm so sorry if I'm pronouncing your name wrong, is here to speak in person.
Greetings. I guess I'll just say what I have to say. Good day, City Council of Baltimore, better known as 52-6000769, a financial application under United States Code Title 12, Chapter 11A, Sections 1451 through 1459, was appropriated and taxed by the 52-6000769 as a public appropriations, and I'm lending my exemption to the City of Baltimore for the benefit of its creditors. The expenditure of said appropriations will be 1099 filed with the IRS in response to being a party in raising money for the City and County of Baltimore. This appropriation shall be tendered with a $10 money order payable to the Treasury or Comptroller. So the expenditure in the amount of $360,000 under as a representative of Rise to Town LLC as a board member and can be properly reported by me and the City of Baltimore. Thank you, and I hope we do more business.
Thank you. Any questions for my colleagues? Okay, thank you, Councilman Jones.
No, I was thoroughly confused. Is this a payment you're making?
That is a answer that would be very more complicated than that, and I don't have enough time to really answer that. So I would like, my email address is coaxumtroy@gmail.com. C as in cat, O as in octopus, A as in Alexander, X as in xylophone, U as in umbrella, M as in mother, TROY@gmail.com. I'll take any questions there.
Okay, thank you.
Appreciate it.
Any questions? Councilman Ortel, Councilman Crandall, any questions? Okay, thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Next speaker.
Mr. Chair, our final speaker this evening is Fred Homan, who is here in person.
Wow, you've got BGE bills and the efficacy of the order line. Tough stuff. I was going to talk to you about the failure of checks and balances in this county, but I'm going to hold off because I found, in putting my blog together, I found a document that you haven't seen before, and I think it helps you understand a little bit about what's been going on from the beginning in the Tirabassi case. The top document is the first attorney, or first law firm that the county hired to deal with Tirabassi, Nelson Mullins. And you'll recall from the document you've seen that it was 5.5 months after I filed my initial MPIA request, and I received one document out of allegedly 9,000, that I actually filed the lawsuit. And that was July 27th. You'll notice this letter is dated August 5th. 9 days later, suddenly the county wants to communicate with me. But look at the end of the first paragraph where Mr. Zolikoff says that, please note that Baltimore County has no interest in quote unquote avoiding public scrutiny, but rather is contractually bound by the terms of its settlement agreement with Mr. Tirabassi. Then it goes on to say, Mr. Tirabassi, through his counsel, has agreed to waive in part the confidentiality provision conditioned on me signing a non-disclosure agreement. So I file an MPIA request, and 5.5 months after I do so, I file a lawsuit. 9 days after that, the county says to me, well, we'll let you see the agreement as long as you don't tell anybody else. It was a Maryland Public Information Act request. It wasn't a Fred Homan Information Act request. It was a Public Information Act request. But the really important thing to focus on is Philip Tirabassi went to the Board of Appeals, an open hearing, and he talked openly about what he wanted. He wasn't ashamed of it. He believed that he was on the right side of the law. He wasn't, but he thought he was. He wasn't hiding a thing. And his lawyer has said that to the press. They had no idea what the county was doing with Philip Doe, had no idea why the county was worried about confidentiality. The county was worried about confidentiality. My lawyer at the time told me they want to settle with you. Right? They'll pay these attorney fees and they'll throw money at you to go away. Right? I obviously didn't do that. And then came along the addendum, which you have seen. It, along with the settlement agreement, is in the Inspector General's report, and I'll be brief. But take a look at the addendum. It's dated 9/7/2021, a month after the letter from Mr. Zolikoff. You put all these documents together, most of which you already have. This one you don't. Right? And you put together exactly what's been going on. the next time I come, I'll talk about checks and balances. I'll talk about the Inspector General's report. And there's another document that exposes the baloney, right, that the administration has pumped, and unfortunately, the Inspector General, in the failure of her report to deliver honesty to the public, has jumped on board with. And I'll do that next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any questions for Mr. Homan? Hearing none, thank you, Mr. Homan.
Can I ask one?
Sure. Councilman
Mr. Holman, before you leave, I was a little confused on that first part. What did you say about the first part of that law, of that document you have?
This is a letter from the first law firm. The county is now paying Baker Donaldson. And they paid Baker Donaldson $375,000. Nelson Mullins was paid $25,000. Right? And the only thing obvious I can show you that they did is this letter. And this letter was to my attorney saying, we will show Mr. Holman the agreement and the check that we cut as long as he signs a non-disclosure so that he can't tell anybody else. Now, how they were going to bind me to that, I have no idea, which is why one of my attorneys said they're looking to pay you off. They'll pay the fees to date, and they'll give you a little money, and you go away. Now, of course, my Maryland Public Information Act request asked for a lot more than this, because I read the Board of Appeals files many times thoroughly. I knew they had signed an agreement, right, because of the fact that Terabasi had withdrawn his complaint with prejudice. So this was not a surprise, right? It wasn't a surprise at all. But it didn't address anywhere near the number of documents I asked for. It just went to the heart of, here's the agreement, we'll show you the agreement, we'll show you the check, you just can't tell anybody else about it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Homan. Anyone else? Okay, with that, happy St. Patrick's Day.